So, welcome everybody to episode 5 of the VFX Nomads podcast. G's currently away traveling, I think, South Korea and Taiwan, right? Or something. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to have our first ever guest on. So we were actually looking at Joe Rogan's numbers and he's kind of destroying us in terms of his YouTube views. So we thought, how can we get our views up there? And we thought there's no better person to invite on than, I think, definitely me and maybe Adrian's first comp soup in the industry, Giacomo Mineo. And he was actually very recently the in-house VFX Supervisor at Dneg on Oppenheimer, which you guys are all familiar with. And one of my favorite memories of Giacomo was when I was a junior compositor at NPC and he was reviewing one of my shots. And I remember I came over and sat next to him while he was reviewing one of my shots. And he was talking to me about how he was trying to match the baking technique of one of his favorite biscuits, I think, from your hometown, Giacomo, I think you're remembering. And you couldn't get the flour right. You said it's all in the flour or something, I remember at the time. And that's, I think, why we wanted to talk to you so much is because you've got this real, you're doing a whole ton of stuff on the side and you've got a whole load of passions, not just VFX, which are equally as important to you, which again is amazing. So, I think that's kind of why it's so interesting to talk to you. And you're someone as well that actually, when I take on a leadership role in the industry, there's a load of kind of attributes that I remember when I was a junior compositor and you're very caring and kind of how you kind of went about things that I try and emulate now as a lead. Well, so I guess with that in mind, is there anyone, when you were starting out in the industry, that you kind of looked up to or any attributes that you found in other people that you try and emulate now that you're in more of a leadership VFX supervisor role?
Okay. Yes and no. In a way, I've been in the industry for quite some time now. And I've been lucky to work with some amazing VFX supervisor, comp supervisor, VFX supervisors. And of course, all the time when you see someone that is doing something that you like, you kind of like, or you don't like. Mm-hmm. But yeah, actually, probably I learned what not to do mostly. Also because you really understand when you are an artist, when you're like, in the comp team, you kind of know what supervisors
you like and don't like,
and the reasons. So but to be honest, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be myself. And my story, I'm coming from a kind of like a strange background because I've done art school and then I was in university, but I wasn't really having great success. I didn't really like, I was doing architect university and I started doing graffiti. And then I became obsessed with graffiti. I wanted to be the best one. Like I was really very competitive. And so I've been into the graffiti for 5 years, 6 years, and I was one of the most known graffiti writer in Italy. And I was doing crazy stuff, really crazy. But it was like it's been like it's basically my university. My university, I graduate on graffiti, and that lesson, I try to find a way to bring that lesson into my job. Like, of course, try to do your best, create beautiful pictures, overcoming a lot of challenges. Try to create a team of people, work with a team of people that you like, so your crew in that case, but also the competition between the others. So it kind of like give you a little bit of fuel to become better. And yes, and then when I tried to translate this into the VFX, it was really hard at the beginning because I was in Italy. I was working in commercial. There wasn't any film industry there in Milan. And it took me really 10 years until I moved into the UK, and I started to work in the movie industry to start to see that thing that could be translated into the VFX. So at the beginning, I was back again at the start. So I was like flame artist, doing big commercials, going on set, talking with directors, and then at 37, I started again.
What made you start again? Because that's quite a brave move, right? To go, you know what, I really want to do this, so I'm going to start again.
yeah, I wasn't really happy with doing commercial. I just thought I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing this. So, we had all settled. We had our house. We had both permanent jobs, and me and my wife, we look at each other and we said, is that it? This is our life. We have a daughter, we have job, but we said no. Let's roll the dice one more time, and let's see what's going to happen. So we moved into the UK, and then it was tough. It was really tough for the family, for my daughter, but yes, it has been. I think it made us a better person, and we are very happy with the decision we made.
I mean, it's turned out pretty well.
And it was really hard at the beginning because I was like literally, you start again, and then you are surrounded by amazing artists. I'm talking about. I mean, some of them, Josh, because they were in PC. I've been in PC for 6 years.
Yeah.
And and I was like, wow, I'm never gonna be at that level. It's like, even though I thought I'm pretty good at this job. I mean, after 11 years, I kind of built my portfolio. I thought I was like good, but this was totally another level. And also my English was really bad. So and then I really started to kind of brought that lesson from the graffiti era of my life into this job, and it's not really there's not really competition between artists. There's a lot of collaboration. It's such a nice industry in this way. Just like all of you guys, I can see already. I mean, I would love to work with you again, or to work with you for the first time, Tony. So it is an industry made by amazing people.
Do you say that in the way that like the graffiti world was a bit more competitive, and the VFX is less competitive? Yes. Okay, so people are trying to like find the spot and kind of like cover up other people's stuff, and, elbow out of the way.
Well, the industry, the VFX industry is just it's better in terms of the approach. But in a way, there's a lot of lessons that I learned, like, the mindset, the perseverance, the never give up attitude, the idea that you can do it. You'll find a way. So you just don't give up. You just trying to find a way, just until you don't smash the wall.
I guess with that in mind, is there anything that you feel like? Because obviously in our industry, you're on a film, maybe especially in your role now, you might be on a film for kind of 3 years almost. So is there any techniques you've developed to kind of keep that positive mental mindset in the last kind of few months once you've seen a shot a couple of hundred times? Is it maybe because you've got all these things you're doing outside of work, or what is it you feel like you're doing that makes you very good at that? Or is that from your graffiti days?
Oh, first of all, hard work. You know that it takes hard work to do anything nice. Even when you start, when you start doing graffiti, you are rubbish at the beginning, and you just have to work and do it and do it and do it and do it until you do it better. And because it's your reputation. If you do it badly, your reputation is just you have a bad reputation. So you don't want that. That's the opposite of what you want. So you kind of have to work hard and trying to learn as much as possible. And but related to our job, it's slightly different in this case. I would say, first of all, I like making pictures. I really love making beautiful pictures. So I just fell in love with that. And I love also working with people. It's just these two things. They are like, it's just nice to see like the team growing, everyone bringing ideas, and the collaboration. It's fun. It's fun to see. Like I remember Adrian like making an amazing shot on. Oh my God, Pirate of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that was the first. Well,
that was one. That was amazing. I mean, you just create something that was so beautiful, and it is like nice to be there. It's nice to be there. You do your thing, but you see other artists doing their own thing, and then it's just a very nice experience.
This is something I wanted to bring up, actually.
Not because of the management, it's because of the politics.
Like I just remember that like pretty clearly, and that project I was just like pretty junior profile, and I just started in the last month of the project, and you were like already there for pretty longer time, and I just remember like you as a reference in that sense. Like I think I've been pretty lucky with supervisors in general, with comp subs through my career, but you are like no exception. And in this case, I was really, like had a long-term effect on me and in how I now aspire to do certain things. And one of them was just through 1 or 2 months, and it was no more than that, how you had the time to test something on me and see if I could do it. And then like, I just remember like you pushing challenges, and instead of, trying to micromanage anything or build specific sequences on the side, I don't know, like you were just like pushing stuff on me, and that felt like really good. And also from the chill perspective of like, just try to do it. And so I think that's something that we as artists really appreciate when that moment comes, because that really lets you grow. And that's, not sure how you went that path or if it's something natural to you, but for sure it's something that really helps us as Sup, I think.
I don't know. I mean, it's every show has different stories, so it's really difficult to say exactly what happened there. But definitely, that show had a lot of difficult shots to do, and it was. I mean, we needed all to give our best to make it happen. So I just remember you were like reacting well. You had good eyes. I could see that, and then it was just nice to see you creating beautiful pictures. So all the team was really good, actually.
I mean, that was the nice thing about back in the day at MPC, man. I mean, it's probably still the same stage, but man, were there some heavy hitters, right? In the shower, in that dark room of the shower, there were some seriously heavy hitters. And
Those talk.
I always tell people about the story how, like, at Christmas party, the lights would come up, and you'd look around and be like, "Oh, this is disgusting. This is
what is this place?"
That
blue tiled floor.
And
yeah, me too.
I think it, in a way, in the industry, being in the same room, big rooms, is actually a big plus. So it's much better than have small rooms, and you have all the people scattered. I know. Some people likes to have, they're like little, but at the end of the day, when you are in a big room, there's more exchange, more dialogues. You see what the other artists are doing. You see who is struggling. So even for the supervisors, it's much easier to understand what's going on and who needs help, or just, bring everyone into the screening room together. It's just quick. Just let's go and have a look at the last sequence, or let's get a coffee. It
gives you energy, doesn't it? I think being surrounded by all these. Is that something you miss working remote? Is that something you miss now? Like, obviously, there's benefits to being remote, but what are your views on it?
I like that. Unfortunately, not all the company has this idea of putting the team together. So Dneg is just doesn't work like that.
I think it was 2 days a week. Was it on Oppenheimer? You were getting people in, or how did it? I think it was up to them as well, right? But
for that show, I was in every day because we have the client VFX Supervisor in house. So I had to be there and manage all the requests. But the team was there. Depends, 2-3 days a week. Some people were in every day. Some people were coming 2 days a week. We had also like a few artists from abroad, like Marco Barato was in New York. There was like a guy, Sergio Rincon, from Canada as well.
Nice.
So Montreal, I think. And then I think he moved into New York as well. So, but that show was more like finding the right people. That's why, Josh, I try to kind of hook you on that point.
Yeah,
because I really wanted to work with the right persons.
I mean, Ash was fucking awesome on that show. By the way, actually, this is something else as well that I guess people won't know. Like, something you've done very amazingly recently is the fact that you keep name dropping compositors on that show, or VFX artists on that show in articles. So he posted a picture to us in a WhatsApp group. I think it was a VES magazine or something, and you'd literally said this shot by Ashley, and then this shot, which is, I wish more supervisors would do that. Not obviously. It'd be great if they talked about just the compositors, but all the people in the show. Yeah. I think that's such a really nice thing to do. A really great thing that you were doing there on that show. It's lovely to do.
I liked when people do in the past I liked that, and it's okay. If I'm gonna be in the situation, I'm gonna do it as well. I think it's just a nice way to acknowledge the work, because it's in a way. Always looks like, okay, the VFX Soup is the one, and everyone are just, but it's not true. I mean, you are there hoping that you have good artists, and they come up with their own stuff. So, same story with you, Adrian. You came out with that shot. You made that shot. So we were there trying to give you feedback, ideas, and guide you, but you did the shot, and the shot was beautiful, so you deserve the praise. So I think that's, and also
is there ever a time you struggled with that kind of when you move from artist to more leadership roles, putting the emphasis on the other person? I mean, obviously Adrian said that you don't micromanage, and that was my experience as well, but is there ever a point where you struggled with that? Or have you always felt like you can trust everybody, and you've never kind of been like, oh, I need to jump in?
No, I think it's more like you can. What I'm doing, I'm trying to give the artist space to see how they are doing, and then if I see they are struggling, I try to help them. But just going there and say, okay, what can I do? How you're doing this? How can we do it better? Or what can we do to go in that direction rather than going off-road? But yeah, I tried first to see how the artists react with you kind of put a little bit of say, okay, this is the idea, what do you think about it? Just I want to see also them bring them their own personality, their own ideas, their own style. So you might get something that you didn't expect, and it's better, or it's nice, it's interesting. So
it's a subtle art of making the people give the most out of themselves by making their work theirs and feeling responsible for it.
So you have to feel creative. Otherwise, why you like it? So yeah, I would say it's difficult because you have a target. You have to go there and kind of get the same, but at the same time. There's no really a rule. I just react to the situation and see and try to find the best dynamic for everyone. And I want my people happy. That's definitely one thing that I really care. I want them happy. I want them come in the office happy to do their job, to do their shot, and I really like to have a nice environment. And it's hard because I can give you the best shot, and you might actually hate it because it's hard. So, but at the end, I remember, for example, in Pirate, there was one artist, Mirek. At the beginning, he wasn't really happy because he is a very kind of very, very, he likes everything very well organized. So all the notes written, so it was at the beginning, it was struggling with my style, and I'm more talking, I'm coming with you. So I'm not write down every single thing. It's more personal, the way I'm working with
yeah.
And I remember he wasn't really enjoying that, although we are good friends. So I just wrote him back, what's going on? Why you're not happy? I don't know, I just don't like this. And I said, please help me. I mean, this show is in hell. I really need your help. And he kind of whoop, swap. From one day to another, he started to create beautiful pictures. He was in super creative mode. He was happy, and it was so nice to see that he actually was helping me. That was really, yeah.
But that's a sign of extreme humility, though. I mean, a lot of people are very afraid to ask for help. They'll never say, "I need help," and that's a great quality, I think. That people, because people want to help other people. Like if you respect the person, if you're friends with the person, they want to jump in and they want to like save the day and stuff. So if you genuinely ask for it, I think a lot of people will step up to the plate and do it.
I mean, all the best comp suits are done. I remember Ernest. So Giacomo, do you know a guy called Ernest Dios at all who works at Trickster? He's a comp suit.
No.
So he's very. What you do this and he does this. It's like you feel like you're batting for your comp soup, right? It's like, man, like this is someone I want to work for, and I think if there is, as Tony said, like some humility, and it's like, wow, yeah, this person is a person. Like they're not just somebody who looks at my shots and gives me pain in the arse notes, dude. No, like there's a reason for it and all this stuff. So yeah,
I try to be as honest as possible, even with the notes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I am aware that some notes are really hard. But at the same time, I know that if I don't give you the note, it's going to come. So
yeah, exactly.
It's better if I give you be honest with you and say, this is, we have to do this. I know it's painful, but we can't avoid it.
Yeah, I think the key word is we have to do this. And that's like, that's really the mood for, we are in the same team, we're pushing together for something.
Yeah. But, in a way, this aspect of being very protective with the team and trying to make the team happy. So and then Dneg has been quite nice in the last 6-7 years. So
it's been 6 or 7 years. Has it been 6-7 years since you've been there? Man, that's crazy. Okay,
you were doing. I think you were there already doing.
Star Trek and Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were doing that together. I was there also. I don't know if you were there at the same time as Star Trek or right after, Giacomo, but I think I left in 2016.
I think I moved there in 2016 or 17.
I was just missed each other there. But my memories of that place was really great. I mean, they probably needed more open rooms because they had everybody in like a little box. A box that kept moving around.
There. It just took me. I was there for 1 year. Only on one show. I was on the 4th floor and on the corner, and in 1 year I knew only the small team I was with. And next only London was almost 1,000 people, so I knew 50 people, 60 people, and I was still like new in the company after 1 year. Which in Dneg doesn't happen, in NPC wasn't happening, because if there was someone good, it was like, I want this guy.
Yeah. But the interesting thing was, like, at NPC, you didn't know any of the lighters, right? Like, you didn't know anyone from any other departments. It really, I mean, maybe if you're a supervisor. Okay.
That was actually one of my things. That's why I probably start to move from a comp artist to like a lead role, because I was one of the few, or probably the only one, that when I was getting the shot, I was just literally going to the floor and talking to the artist. And everyone just start to see me walking around floor. So who's this guy?
He's never at his desk. What's going on?
Coming here, talking with the DMP artist, talking with the lighter, so people start to notice me because of that. So actually, if you want to do one thing, it's just as a advice, go and talk with the other artists that are working on the shot. Don't just stay there and wait for the new render, or just go and talk with the FX artist. See what's the DMP is doing, why he's doing it, what you can get a matte, you can get something that is going to be useful for later. So if you give him all the feedback or the problem is just this is not working. What can we do to fix it? So yes. Just try to talk with the people. And also it's nice, because at the end of the day, most of them, they are nice people. So, and people remember you.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
they remember you. Somebody who cares about the shot and like wants to collaborate.
Different attitude. And I noticed that when I was there, no one was doing it.
Yeah, no.
So you think that's something that people recognize, and that's why they moved you up into the more leadership roles?
Yes.
That's cool.
That's something that,
What do you think of this whole?
Just thinking, like, that's something that took me years to realize, and back then in that situation, I remember like my comp lead coming and so here's the lighting you have to work with for this shot, and it's like, okay, this is like a finished product that I have to now take into a comp shot, and then later I started seeing companies or teams just working in a different way, and where the comper is like, yeah, it's just aligned with the lighter, and or other people that are pushing the same shot, and it's not the finished process until both are finished at the same time. It's not like lighting is finished, then comp starts, and just making yourself responsible for your shot and understanding that lighting is also a part of your shot, and you have to be a team with those parts, like really, I mean, increases efficiency and yeah,
absolutely. At the end of the day, you go in dailies and you know what's behind, So if you get a feedback, you know exactly what you have to do or what you can do or what you can't do. So you can say, this is like actually lighting. Maybe I can talk with the lighter. This attitude of you finding the solutions is so important, because the supervisor just say, okay, this guy is gonna find a solution. So I don't have to, because I'm being on the other side. And most of the time, I have to find a solution for them. If you are trying to find a solution by yourself, then you kind of show a different way of working, and that's what actually brought me up.
And that makes the artists grow as well, and they feel challenged, and so it's like a win-win.
That's why at the end I was the one that when they had a problem, they were coming with me. So, okay, Giacomo, we have a problem here, and I was doing. I remember for Fantastic Four, I was doing animation. I was and my Jess was saying, this, because the people in animation, they weren't really getting the right look, the right timing, and then also it was like through the sequence. I said, Giacomo, can you have a look at just design the cracks? And I was designing all the cracks, looking on the sequence, and then talking with the lighter, and then we just decide how deep the cracks, how we gonna create all the setup, and then we render everything. And after 1 week, I said, Jess, this is the sequence. What do you think about it? That's good. That's what I wanted. Okay, great. So we can move forward. So
that's your one animator credit in your career, then, is it? The crack animator.
I'm doing DMP. If it's the case, I'm just doing my own DMP.
Get it done.
I'm not the DMP artist, but if I can, I'm just grabbing some stuff from texture and painting in. Just try to be as more proactive as possible.
Yeah. Do you find now you're a VFX soup because I know something we'd spoken about before is kind of if your VFX supervisor is ex-comp, they'll push some stuff into comp because they understand that world. And if they're more coming from a CG background, they might push more things into light. Now, given that you've got a little bit of an understanding of all the worlds, is that something you find you do a little bit, or do you kind of counteract that bias in any way, or what?
No, I know what you mean. Yes. I'll be honest with you, because I'm coming from the 2D, I'm always had my show were mostly kind of 2D oriented shows. Pirate of the Caribbean, but I was comp soup there, so the VFX soup Sheldon was actually coming from from the CG side. I'm not sure if he was a lighter, but so my shows, the shows I've done so far, they are mostly also like Oppenheimer. It was basically only 2D, so there wasn't any 3D there. So, but I know what you mean. It's like how picky do you want to be with the lighting before you push it into comp?
Yeah, you can hack it with a normals pass in comp. So do I really want to? Yeah.
Yeah, I see if I notice that it's something that I know we can do easily, I would let it go, definitely. Yeah. But again, it's not like to this. There is a massive crossover between the two. So I really encourage the artists to talk to each other and try to find the best way. Because at the end of the day, you have to do the shot. So if you can, you can fix that easily, while for the lighter, it's going to take like a day of rendering and just do it. Of course, you have to do it for 100 shots is another story. But if you have to do like for that specific shot, just try to find a solution that is something that is, I think, is really important, to be very elastic, very. It's not like this is like an artistic job.
There's no right way to do a single thing.
Yes.
And that's like the essence of VFX, right? All is just potential. And at no single point you can make a decision of this will be done this way, because then you're just... Because you're making decisions based on something that's going to happen in the future and images that you have not seen yet, or just the previous, or just... So we are always making guesses, right?
Yes, exactly. So it's even if you have a sequence, different point of views, the shot changes so many. That's why, I know that, you had like a recent episode about AI, and
oh yeah,
it's interesting to see what is happening. But there's so many decisions. There's so many small decisions, like tons of them per every shot that you have to take. And I don't see that coming very soon. That you have like one shot, like okay, I'm doing like one look depth shot, and then you can just ask AI to do the rest. It's not gonna work like that.
One of my fondest memories was from a show a couple years ago where there was this kind of really complicated shot that was like one of those like never been done before kind of shots, and we all went into the cinema room, which was before COVID. So we had like the CG soup, the comp soup, the artist, the VFX super, the animators, the VFX team. And basically it was like, yeah, we don't know how we're going to do this. Let's not leave this room basically until we find a solution. And it was like it was super cool because everyone was like, well, in 3D, we could do the hair like this. And in comp, I could like project this. And okay, well, I can animate. Should we do that in animation? Should we do that in effects? And everyone was going back and forth, and it took like, 2 hours. But at the end of it, we had like a rough game plan. Then you come back like the next day or a couple days later. No, we have to scrap that. That didn't work. Can you do a test of that? Okay. It was so much fun. I think it was so much fun.
When exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Like collaboration. When you work with a team and you are all together, it's so much more rewarding.
I think you need the right environment, though. As you mentioned, Giacomo, you're very good at making that kind of environment where everyone feels like they can actually suggest things and they're not going to get shot down. It's like, no, like everyone here is good. Now, how else would you do this?
Yeah, do it. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your opinion.
It's like starting from the place of like, I don't know, and we need to solve this together. And I don't have the answer, and I need help to figure. We all need to figure it out.
I don't have all the answers. I mean, I have experience. So the experience that I'm coming from a comp, and I kind of like went through a lot of different problems, but I don't have all the answers. And some people are just way better than me in technical aspects. So you, Adrian, for example, and so you kind of like design things, and that's not my thing.
That's really important. Just to acknowledge that every person has their own strengths, and
if you come in with your kind of like ideas and approach, and what you can do or what you can write down that can be used for the sequence, or yes, absolutely. I mean, you're super welcome to do that.
Do you have any tips in how you find that in people? Like, do you kind of make a mental note every time? So, this guy made a tool, okay, or this guy is really good at this lighting, this like crafting this color correction or something. I don't know. Like, do you have like sort of your own method of how you are enabling people?
I mean, first of all, if you have a team, or if the team is the people are already there, you kind of like notice already, and then I think in a way or another, everyone shows what they like to do. So it's not really difficult to notice your attitude. So, and at the beginning, maybe, but at the beginning, for example, I really like to work with juniors because they really suck everything everything you tell them. They're so happy because you spend time with them and they really feel like it's quality time for them.
Yeah, they're not depressed yet over the years of VFX.
I remember those. I mean, I literally, and also you're not just saying it, like you literally did it. I remember, I think Adrian, you're a junior as well, right? Like, yeah, I could definitely tell that, like you you really took that responsibility on quite seriously, I think, as well. Like, wow, like this is someone I can really educate and they will listen and all this stuff. So, yeah. Nice. So is that, how do you work out your balance then of like juniors to mids to seniors? Obviously it depends on the show, but and that's something you think about. How would you do that, given that you like working with juniors because they're a bit more open-minded?
Honestly, I don't really look at people like I mean, it's, I know, for example, you have a lot of all of you, but now have a lot of experience in the industry. So I'm not starting giving you very easy shots. But so if I have a junior, maybe I just test the ground a little bit at the beginning. But then it doesn't matter. For example, Ashley was a very junior. Ashley Mojave was a very junior on Pirate of the Caribbean. But I gave him one shot and he was kind of like, has such a good eyes. Then I said, oh, this guy actually, I mean, because at the end of the day, we are making pictures. If you don't know how technically how to key, you're going to learn it. But to make a beautiful picture, to have good eyes, that's something that you can't teach. So when I saw him, like, okay, actually, even the amount of blur, the amount of, I hate glow, but in that case, just a little bit of glow. I know, Tony, you like putting glow everywhere.
No, I'm with you.
I'm the only one here who hasn't made an Expo glow node.
No.
Tony and Adrian have made
I want to feel the glow. I want to feel it. I don't want to see it. I want to feel it.
I don't like glow, but when it's like the right amount, which is probably most of the time like 10% of what is there, it's good. Yeah. And, he was finding the right balance on the picture. I said, that's nice. And then I said, okay, let's see how he cope if we give him a little like a bigger challenge. And it's, so he wasn't a junior on the show. He was actually a senior on the show, although he was on paper a junior, but he was delivering as a senior or like upper mid. So it does not really like, you don't really like, oh, this is a junior, so you're going to give me only like those shots. Depends how he reacts, how what he shows, how the attitude as well that he has.
And it's really important to use those opportunities, right? As an artist, like I just remember every time I had a challenge or something, like in your case, it was clear. Like I had a super easy shot, had some feedback, tried to do my best, and I was super motivated. You gave me something more difficult. Not just difficult, like technically, but just like artistically, creatively, and the amount of responsibility I had to take. And it was like all the time, like just one step more. And yeah, through the years, I've seen that those opportunities are super valuable as an artist, not just because you learn a lot, but also because that's what lets you grow and actually be able to have an experience that you can prove that you are actually.
And build your confidence, because at the end of the day, we are all so, at the beginning, you lack of confidence a lot. So you don't know how good you are, and, you may get like a bad shot. The worst shots are the harder, but ugly. I remember the first 2 years in MPC, I got only super hard shots, but ugly. At the end of the day, even if you do your best, it's never going to look like an amazing shot.
Yeah.
That was so frustrating. So try to spread the shots as much as possible with the team, because you don't want those shots. You don't want something that is going to look beautiful at the end.
Do they have the expression outside of VFX of polishing a turd? Or is it just for us?
It is super tricky. I mean, the worst thing is when you're working on a shot and your eye is different to the client. That's the worst thing in the world, because you don't know how to make this thing look good for them. It's so hard. I was working on a commercial once, and that was the case. And it was like, I got no idea how to do this. They wanted everything to be blingy and to be able to see everything, and they didn't want the exposure to be correct. And it's like, this is, as you said, it's like, I can do it technically right, but it's not going to look nice.
Sometimes you just don't understand the notes because you have a completely different taste. But then you have to trust and rely on the people above you that have more information.
As a VFX super, are you finding that you can kind of nudge the client in that look stuff a little bit, or is that not the case? Is it still kind of
I mean, honestly, I'm on the idea that the more I show to the client, the better. So rather than, wait to have a shot that is perfect, because some supervisors tend to kind of be a little bit worried to show something that is not polished.
Yeah.
I don't mind. If I see something nice, I just want to see some reaction. So when I brought it forward, this is like just an idea. What do you think about it? So try to keep the conversation open as much as possible to anything that I think is valuable to discuss. So that is the, I think that, because it's just, otherwise it happened to me. I was doing one shot on 47 Ronnie. I think I've worked on that shot for 6 months. 178 versions.
I remember those days.
So, yeah. Yes. And I was working with an amazing VFX supervisor, Nicolas Aitadi.
Yeah.
And he was so, he's amazing. He taught me a lot because he was pushing me so hard that I had to step up and learn and be better. And he was looking at every single detail, and it was really tough. But at the end of the kind of like 2 years experience with him, I was such a better artist, such a good compositor. And I felt like I can make beautiful pictures. And I remember this shot, we worked like, I don't know, a couple of months until he was happy to show it. It was like version 90 or 80. And they showed it to the director, and the director said, "Oh, it's too dark. I don't like this." It's just, he was going full. I mean, Nick was going like photography. He was just trying to make it. Why the director was like, "Oh, I want something more, different." So, yes, if we try to avoid this type of situation, there's no more. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, but now there's no more. There's not enough money and not enough.
I think
time.
It's the turnaround speed, right? It's just so much quicker that you can't do it. You can't hold on to stuff.
I think the industry has changed versus how it was 13 years ago. So it was more relying on comp, by the way. So we were doing more. We were trying to find solutions because there were so many limitations with 3D, with the farm rendering, and so we had to kind of come up with ideas because the fire wasn't looking fire.
I'm laughing because Giacomo, do you remember on Guardians of the Galaxy and they're on Rocket Raccoon? Basically, we needed to denoise the Rocket Raccoon renders, and there was one license of neat video denoise on one computer, local on the computer, and all the compers were queuing up for that computer. It was like Jesus.
Yeah, it was. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man, back in the day.
And I guess it was like he wasn't even like connected to this, so you had to somehow copy all the files on the computer, and just to be able to render the final comp, because you couldn't really denoise passes. It was okay, or you render the CG or the final comp. That's it. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Hey, one computer denoising the entire movie.
Yeah, exactly.
For weeks.
It didn't last long. It was a transition period when we were testing the software, and then they bought the license when they realized it was actually valuable.
I guess given the way things are going in the industry, have you had a chance to kind of play around with like any of the LED panels? I know you were quite interested to talk to Adrian about the LED panel stuff. Have you had a chance to play around with it yourself, or not so much yet?
I went on set. I think Paul Franklin was doing like a short video, like he was directing a little project, and with Ari. I think there's some videos on YouTube about it. And I went to see that set, and I don't know. I'm not really convinced at the moment. Although we all have seen The Mandalorian, and Disney is actually. They have spent a lot of time doing probably heavy look dev on their volume to make it work, because it looks like it's working much better than any others. But for what I've seen, I think it's like still early, or like it's going to take a few years probably to make it really easy to use for everyone. I don't know. What do you think, Adrian? It's also like there's so many versions of Unreal.
Yeah.
It's like every time you have a new patch, And so you need to make sure you have everything is updated. So there's a lot of technical.
I think
problems.
we're definitely in the prototyping stage still, but still, like if you want to get final pixels in camera, there's so many things that you have to account for, and some of them do not have a trivial solution. I'm just, for example, thinking the focus problem. I'm not sure if we discussed this in a previous episode, but like your screen is physically at some point, and that will have a certain defocus on the camera. What if you want a set defocus or to have more depth layers? Well, you can add a set defocus in Unreal, but when you have a bokeh and you do a bokeh of a bokeh, the result is a blurry, not good-looking thing. So either you go for a fully in-camera defocus or for a fully in-screen defocus and you close the iris, or you get something that's blurry. And so there's like all of those kinds of limitations. If we just
there's something. You're right. There's something in the defocus that it never really feels right. It's strange.
Because physically, it's a single distance, and
the blacks and the more effect, and there's so many things that has to be accounted. And also, I don't know, the people that are working on Unreal, they are coming from
the
game background.
Yeah, that's another big thing.
They don't have the same eyes that we have. For them, maybe the quality is good enough. For us, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it's just eyes thing, but also the Unreal as a full package. It doesn't come from a DCC Nuke Maya past.
I mean, I don't want to talk about Unreal. It's an amazing tool. It's incredible what you can do with it. So I think it's going to get better and better. It's just, I agree. It's just going to take a little bit of time to.
Like we're still using something for what it is not, basically, and I think like I'm seeing so many stages appearing through the world, and so many governments throwing away so much money to make this work as if it's like the future, and everyone wants to go first there. But I think at the same time, it's like it has some really important inherent limitations that we have to account for. And it doesn't work for everything. And there's some situations that are amazing. And this technology is like right now perfect. And for example, like if you're shooting a sequence inside of a car and you just want something happening in the background out of focus, like that's perfect. That will get you out of 200 boring green screen shots. But
yes. I want to learn more about it. And definitely, I want to be able to understand exactly what I can confidently advice to the director, because I've been in a situation as well where we were saying, okay, we're going to do it like car rear window projection, and then the blacks were lifted, maybe the clip wasn't really running smooth, there was some problem with the frequency, and suddenly it was the director was super upset on set. You don't want to be in that situation.
So from the day we had the screen working with the camera tracking, working with Unreal connected, to the day we were able to do a film, it was 2 years. And there were so many problems that we were able to do some commercials here and there and fix them if something broke. But like just to have just the basics that you can barely start working, that's like too many variables to make sure that they are correct. And you really need people with experience there, and there's not many at the moment.
Is that something you're finding VFX directors are coming to you, Giacomo, and saying, I want to do this in LED panel? Or will they just say, we want to do this, how would you best do? Because you can see like ILM and Disney are promoting the crap out of that thing, which makes sense because they're trying to get the clients to come to them. I think NPC did it as well with like the Jungle Book, where they had the VR headsets and you could design your environment. So is that something that directors are coming to you and saying, we want to AI the shit out of this and we want to LED screen the shit out of this thing? Go, and here's your small budget. Or
I think in the case of ILM, they actually bought it. So they have their own studio, their own volume. So I think it makes sense for them. They try to make the investment, have a meaning. So I think there is a queue of production of like they want to. If you want to do a movie with a volume, you probably have to wait, 2 years because they're already booked. For in general, I mean, the conversation. If I have a conversation with the client, it's more like we discuss together. So what is the best solution, and you try to find just to come with the best. For my experience, for example, I would say The more you can shoot in camera, let's shoot in camera. So that's like basics. Like, okay, water. Let's shoot everything real. Let's try to shoot as much material as possible, and then see what we can do with the real materials. So that would be my first reaction. But then, for example, if you want to do underwater stuff, that it's doable. While if you know that you have like a massive, waterfall or things that are really, you kind of like, okay, maybe we can try to, let's discuss what's the best way to see this. How can we do it? It's really a case by case. It's again, there's no like one solution. You just be in the situation and then, start to try to make your few neurons moving and come out with, from my experience, this is not working. This is working better, or this is working, but it's a lot of work and the result is So you want to be very honest and say it. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, it seems like your process is basically put a ton of good people together in a room and we'll figure it out somehow, which is kind of like what Tony was saying with his shot, right? Like, find talented people in different disciplines.
Would be the best.
Throw some ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always. If you can get a good team, that's. But also with the client, just try to be honest and say, okay, I don't see it in this way. For example, I was on set on Devs, like a TV series I've done with Alex Garland. And we were discussing about one shot with like motion control and the same character doing several different things. And on my experience, I said, if the location is outdoor, which it was supposed to be, don't shoot it indoor, shoot it outdoor. So I don't want to have like lights, like it's never going to match.
Yeah.
So just shoot it outdoor, natural light, and then we would make it work.
I remember this is something that I remember was an issue in Jungle Book, and it's happening more and more nowadays with HDR monitors. The CG can be lit with a real sun, and on set is being lit with a fake spotlight. So with HDR stuff now, the CG feels like it's being lit with the sun, and the stuff on set feels like it's on set. So I think as we get further and further with that stuff, like you're going to need to do that right, because it's almost like the on-set stuff doesn't stand up to everything else to a certain respect.
True.
Yeah, crazy times.
But it's more like you're reacting. You bring your own story, your own experience with you all the time. Everything you do in your life, it's basically what you learn, and you try kind of replicate the same, same lesson, and say, okay, this is something that happened to me. Maybe, for example, this guy is getting upset with the notes. So you kind of try to understand, okay, what is the best way to, make this guy happy and work well. So you kind of learn, okay, every time it's every lesson you just brought into your bag, and then you try to use the same lesson for the rest of what you do. That's why going back to the graffiti, that was the same story. So yes,
it's great. Like
keep pushing until you don't get there.
I really wanted to ask you, Giacomo, about your chocolate that you make on the
chocolate.
side.
Yeah, that's what I was
I think four of your chocolate recipes have won awards, in the UK, right?
Yeah. There's like an Academy of Chocolate, and you can send your chocolate bars or pralines, and there are judges, like it's proper like, I've got 2 silvers and 2 bronze.
So obviously everybody likes chocolate, but what made you be like, I want to make my own? I'm not happy with that. I want to make mine.
I always had a sweet tooth, so that was the first thing. So I always loved chocolate. And when we were in MPC, Josh, there was a shop in front of MPC.
I remember. Do you remember I was busking and you'd just done the course there?
Say again, sorry?
Oh, do you remember I was busking with a guitar, and I think you just done the chocolate course, and you walked past and gave me a chocolate.
True.
Yeah.
So that shop, there was like a guy called Paul Young, a chocolatier, which is, I think it's quite popular also. And he was doing masterclass. And the shop was in front of the NPC. And I was like literally every day was coming out from the door and going inside the shop and trying new chocolate. And then I was talking with the people there, and I got friendly with them. They were offering me free chocolate at the end.
That's when you know you spent a lot of money in a shop when they're
Free chocolate.
I think it was also like you can kind of like each other, and then they told me, there are actually masterclass. You can learn how to make pralines, how to temper chocolate, and all those sorts of stuff. So I said yes, why not? And I remember the first time Pauline said, "Oh, who is actually into making it as a job?" And like we were in 5, and 4 raised their hands, and I was the one that did.
Whoa!
And I don't know if the others went into profession, but at the end, I did. I ended up making chocolate and opening a company for chocolate bars. So that's
and you still sell it today? You still sell?
Yes, I'm selling it online.
That's awesome.
So I wasn't really planning. It wasn't really something I was planning. It was just, okay, I really like this. And at the end of the day, in life, that's what you do. And if you enjoy something, find something that you like, and then it's the work. It's just not work. It's just fun. So, and that's the same story with chocolate. I start to play around with chocolate, making pralines, and then I figure out that I like more the idea of making the chocolate from scratch. And then I start to go into all the chocolate festivals, and the people in the chocolate kind of like environment is made by amazing people. They are all friendly, smiley, and I like that. So this is actually a nice environment. I mean, I want to be in an environment where everyone is so nice. And
it's not like the graffiti world where people are like, no, like chocolate's better.
And that's the reality where everything is chocolate and everyone's happy.
How do you make your chocolate? How much, what do you buy your cocoa beans? What machines do you use? And everyone were like super friendly. They told me, yes, we use these machines. There is this forum where we all talk and share our stories. And yes, in no time, I kind of like started to buy the machine and making my own chocolate. I was buying the beans from the chocolate makers. So I was like basically the second, they were buying the cocoa beans and then they were reselling them to me. So it wasn't really convenient, but it was like, okay, get me started. And then from that, I think 3 years ago, I start to bring my chocolate to some of my friends, and they were so blown out. They say, you have to do that. You can't just give me that and don't. It's like, and then
the world needs to know.
you have to do it seriously. And I say, okay, maybe I'm going to try, just to make you happy.
I love it. Giacomo, these are drug dealer tactics, by the way. You give them a little bit, and then you get them hooked, and then you.
You're the Walter White of chocolate.
Exactly.
This guy won an Academy Award.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to try some chocolate?
Chocolate Empire.
Like, it's all about also like sharing the experience.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, you remember, Josh, you bought like a subscription for your dad.
Yeah.
So these little things that makes you like, okay, this is actually something that people likes and makes them happy. They really enjoy it. So I think I would do chocolate even only for myself anyway, because I'm just addicted. But having like good feedback that helped me to go even forward and push. So open a company, make a new design. Yes, try to do like a proper product.
So the question I'm dying to know is what has your chocolate experience in the chocolate world brought into the VFX?
Oh.
How could you tie it together? Is there any like lesson that is
From
learned?
the chocolate to the VFX industry, I do.
Are the notes more brutal in the chocolate world or in the VFX world, Giacomo? You
The
get
feedback.
from the clients. They're looking at your wrapper and zooming in 1,000%.
I mean, I wouldn't say honestly. First of all, chocolate, 90% of the shop, 95% or maybe more of the chocolate that you find in the shop is bad. So
what makes it bad? Is it the amount of like milk, or is it the beans that they're using, or coconut?
So the production of cocoa beans is mostly in quantity, and think about it like that. So chocolate is very similar to wine. So you think about like you always had in your life a bad wine. So kind of that's the only thing you can find, like burnt, a lot of sugar, bitter, and it's still like it is still enjoyable.
But it's probably because of the sugar rather than the chocolate bit, right?
Yeah,
that makes it so.
Anyway, it's still like chocolate, so you still enjoy it, but it's so mono flavor. While when you start to figure out actually there's so much flavors, there's so much different qualities and different taste that can have, then you start kind of open up. Oh, that's so. Even if you start with decent beans, cocoa beans, even if you're not really good at roasting, you're gonna get like a product is so much better.
Yeah,
and that everyone are happy. So the feedback are always positive, basically.
But you're aging the beans as well now, right? Like in whiskey barrels and.
Now I'm playing around with aging. So it's been a while. I started with whiskey, and now I'm aging chocolate with rum, with amaretto, with I'm gonna do a passito, which is like an Italian wine. It has like a very strong rise in flavor. And then I'm doing something with Moscato. So I'm like, yes, I'm exploring. I'm trying to do something that is more like, because there's other people that are making chocolate at this level, small makers. I want to find my niche, and I think aging could be like one of the like little niche that I have. That is.
And you're going to buy a little purple top hat as well, you said, Giacomo, and you're going to have a cane and everything. And start walking into Dneg like that. And I mean, to be honest with you, you've probably literally just taken the VFX process, right, and applied it to chocolate. Like iterate,
revisions.
Iterate, attention to detail. I mean, and you were saying your wife designed your the cover of your chocolate, and you were a pain in the ass client. You said, yes. I think you said to me.
I'm gonna move these leaves. Maybe this doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she made an amazing work.
It looks really good.
Super happy, and at the end she was happy. So
always making your team happy.
I think the worst thing is to be the supervisor of your wife.
I would recommend it.
Jesus, yeah.
Try to avoid it.
Actually, there's something I wanted to ask you, and it's probably related to this, but I'm not sure how related. And it's how do you manage to keep your mind sane enough at work whenever there's like harsh or stressful situations? Like how much, like, do you have any tips or any learnings through the years for either family, chocolate, I don't know, whatever you have outside of work to keep that balance working nice?
Well, if you manage to build a team of people and you have a good relation with your team, then you always have someone. You have so you're never alone. So yes, you can have a difficult producer or a difficult client, but then it's one moment, and then the rest of the work you're doing with nice people. So it's never really like you have bad team, bad production, and bad client. That's really unlucky. So yes, there are stressful situations, but also if you are surrounded with people that are with you and you can rely on and they trust you, so I think kind of manage. Of course, it's hard. And my wife is my psychologist. So I'm coming home and just, it's so bad. I don't know how to deal with that. And she helped me. She helped me to see things a little bit more, from a distance sometimes.
Do you double down on really making sure you got time to do I know you play tennis as well a lot. Like, do you, in those tricky times, do you almost really make a point of making time to do chocolate or tennis or something else?
No, I don't. I mean, my job is my first. My family first, but my job is like what actually,
Yeah.
Paid bills. So first the job, and then all the energy left, if I have any, are going to my hobbies. So that's
You're playing tennis twice a week, dude, and you're making chocolate and you're VFX supervising. That's a lot of energy.
Yes, I mean, at the moment I'm not supervising any project. I'm comping. So in a way, for me, comping it's so easy.
Yeah, but something you said to me once was like, you're on a Paul Franklin job, and you said you're still a bit nervous about delivering something, which I think is amazing. Like, even at your level, like, you're still a bit nervous to deliver, which is incredible.
You're working with, a double, twice or thrice VFX Supervisor, winning Oscar-winning VFX Supervisor. So, and he is the creative director of your company. So you don't want to,
don't want to let him down.
A little bit like expectation, and I don't know. You just want to show that you actually are good on your job. So there's always a little bit of pressure, but in general, most of the time when they ask me to comp, is because they need someone that finds solutions. They need someone that is able to do big shots, and for me now it's really like, okay, yeah, I know I can do it. So I've done it so many times. It just takes the time that it takes. It's just, okay, I can't come with a day with a shot finished, but I know that. So I think one of the qualities of a very good comp artist, any artist, is to be very aware of the priorities. So just what's the biggest thing that is going to make the biggest impact on the picture? So first focus on what is important, what is going to really have a big impact. And then you kind of like, okay, start to look on all the details and fine. So understand the priorities. This is super important. And then don't overcomplicate things. Try to keep it as simple as possible. So the scripts with too many no's, no, just try to keep it as simple as possible. And when you are experienced, you go straight to the point. You don't have 20 nodes to do one operation. You just add one node, and then you can refine it. But then you just get where you want to get, and then you're gonna put it in front of the people that, okay, is this the right balance? Is this what you want? No, I want more. And then you move, but you move the shot, and then when you find the right spot, then you can start to refine all the details.
Do you kind of miss the times of like before COVID and everybody's just in a room together, and have you adapted any of the stuff? Like, you obviously led teams before COVID, and that was much different. Have you had to adapt certain, methods and adapt to like people working from home, and now you do something that you might not have done before, or vice versa?
I mean, the big difference is definitely that you don't have the same, you don't really have the vibe of the team, what's going on. So that is hard. So you kind of maybe talk with one artist, and you heard that people are unhappy, but you don't really know exactly how to react on that, what to do. I would say, I'm having the same approach I was having when I was a comper. So I'm not shy to call, and just call everyone. So I'm not waiting like, okay, I just call. Yeah. I'm knocking the door, say, do you have time for a call? And just trying to figure out what's going on, if there's anything I could do to help. So I'm very proactive again. Just don't be shy to, maybe I don't want to disturb the art. No, just, we are here working. So, if something doesn't work for you, just don't. Maybe it's going to be like only someone that needs to throw all his unhappiness on me, which happens quite often.
Yeah.
But if it helps, it helps to kind of, okay, now you can move on, and you'll be listened. So we'll try to make things works better for you. But just try to be as much as possible present, like as physically as possible as we can with this technology. That would be my approach. In general, yes, there is a loss. There is definitely a loss. There is also a gain, because we have. We are not losing hours in commuting and money as well. So there are good things and bad things. It's difficult now to go back, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's difficult to go back to the full time in office. But for Oppenheimer, for example, it wasn't necessary. For me, absolutely. But in general, when you have a very, very creative show, when you need really a lot of interaction and ideas and discussions, and that is something I'm probably going to push the team to come in office as much as possible.
You mean that in office was essential?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But for example, one of the artists, Pete, he wasn't coming in office, and Pete Howlett is an amazing artist, because he couldn't, but he managed anyway to understand exactly, and it was so good that there wasn't any reason for me to kind of ask him to come. So it depends also on the needs of the people
and their profile,
again,
right? And
just react to the dynamics and see what's work best for everyone.
The only thing about being home I find though is like if I'm in the office chatting to people, I feel like it gives me energy. Whereas if I'm doing online calls, I feel like it's the opposite. I don't feel like, sometimes I guess the end of it, you feel like you've got energy. But if you keep jumping between calls, I don't know, it's less organic almost, and you feel a bit tired, because it's kind of like your days run by the calendar, rather these little impromptu, hey, do you want to come over and sit next to me? And we end up talking about biscuits that you're making as well. And it's like all of that stuff that's kind of missing. It's kind of almost too efficient now, in regards to like, we've got this meeting and we're talking about this, and then everyone hangs up. There's... which is probably mostly why we started doing this podcast.
There's definitely a loss of human interaction and personal interaction. I managed to counterbalance it with the fact that I'm very personal with my people, with the people I'm working with. But yes, I can see that there is a loss, definitely a loss.
Like the barrier to communicate something has to go over the let's create a meeting in order to
I used to, I'm gonna, if you are in the office, I'm gonna start and tap you. How's it going? Coffee. I give you an hug. So I'm gonna just rub you on your back just to make sure it's a little bit of physical contact. Because, I'm Italian, so I like that.
Well, I've always found the people in the office, like,
you bring like a tea, you just make a tea for it's just all these little things that are nice. So that makes people really feel.
You build this rapport with them when you're in real life. I feel like I sometimes struggle to get the same amount of rapport or like camaraderie with the people online. I might have known somebody only online for months, but maybe I know somebody in office for 2 weeks, but already I feel more of a kinship to the person in office, just because, you go to lunch or you go to get a coffee or something, and you almost feel like you can trust them more, which I know probably you shouldn't say that, but you kind of know them a little bit better in some ways. because they're not, presenting themselves on just
so
a
much
meeting.
information that
I see them
happens
all
in
the
real
time.
world outside of the screens. It's not just 24 frames a second of a 720p image that the person is throwing at you. It's way more, right? The tone,
No, I believe. I mean, of course, quality what counts. So it's not quantity. So, and that's what I learned. Well, that's what I tell to myself when I thinking about the time I spend with my daughter. Because I mean, when I was in PC, I wasn't really. I mean, I wasn't really here much. So, but I was like, when I was here, I was trying to be present. So I would say right now, probably that's the best thing we can do. So when we are in office, when we go in office, just to be present and, try to, as much as possible, to take the time to talk with the people, to spend some time with them, to share ideas. Yes, I think that probably we have to make more an effort when we are in office.
I think companies are still finding that balance, right? Like I know some companies are kind of, I know ILP, for instance, they keep a whole section of their office, which is just the kitchen and the social area. It's super important because when people are in the office, it's okay. Like you can be a little less efficient at VFX right now and actually be more efficient in terms of just talking to people. And that would be useful later on and have a knock-on effect. So I think companies are still, because COVID happened so quick, they just took everything the same way people do it in the office and applied it to online. Whereas I think that's not necessarily like training. I don't think I'd be I don't think I'd be a good comper if it wasn't for me being in the office next to people like you and like Mirek and like Benjamin Bratt and like other people as well. And I don't understand how junior compers do it now. Like, how does it? They don't kind of almost stand a chance.
It must be hard for them. Yes.
Yeah. It's a tricky one.
But that's why, if you are an artist and you're with me, just give me a shout. If I have time, I'm gonna help you. Anything I can do to ease or maybe I'm gonna point you out the person that could help you. So when I started MPC, they were doing like these great things. It was called like you had your own body. So you had someone who was there helping you and giving you just all the informations about how things were working, because everything was new. How to everything it was new. So like the hub or like you kind of need someone. So I think that's something that probably I haven't seen happening, but I would say at least when you have a show, you should have someone assigned for juniors. So juniors, at least, they know that there's someone that they can reach if they are stuck, with even basic stuff. And they are not shy to ask. Because that's what most of the time, that's the problem. People are shy. They don't want to disturb, but no, disturb. Don't be shy.
Yeah, clicking that meeting button can be sometimes more intimidating than like tap on the shoulder.
Don't
more
be shy.
impersonal.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be a little bit bold, and say what you think. And if you don't know something, I don't know so many things. It's okay. It's okay not knowing things. So it's not a problem.
I think something that the problem at the moment, and this might change actually after the strikes, because what was happening in COVID is there was so much work coming in that companies were in two minds, basically. Do we want to take our senior and lead compers and get them to help junior compers, or do we want to just give them more shots to do, right? So that's, I think, where it was super tricky, because there's X amount of resources, and how do we split our resource to get everything out? So I think the juniors kind of fell by the wayside a little bit there and kind of had to fend for themselves. And it's very much sink or swim. But hopefully now, I think do you think, Giacomo, it's going to be as mental as COVID times when things pick up again? Or do you think it's kind of going to be a little bit of a slower pace in terms of projects and things?
That's a good question. I think there's going to be a big wave again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that now it's. I think this has been really unlucky, because, for some companies in particular, they lost a lot of good artists, and now they were trying to rebuild the team, and it was tough because there was a lot of demand, and then kind of like you need to when you hire new people, they need time to understand the company, to understand the dynamics, to understand. So it takes a little bit of time to settle. And now, again, we are in the same situation that some people were starting to feel, comfortable, understand where they were, and now they've been laid off, and now they're gonna have to find a new place. So this is so it's really unwelcome, this situation. But nothing we can do about it. We have just to accept that, and again, new people are gonna come. Be nice with them, and there's gonna be amazing people, and some people are going to come back. I hope, because we lost, for example, in Dneg, we lost a lot of good people.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any other.
But you think it's looking like it might go as nuts as COVID times, if that makes sense? Because there was a lot of shows in.
Hiring, yes, there's gonna be like everyone are gonna hire again.
Yeah.
Crazily, and then it's gonna be difficult if you have a show to find, a quality team, because everyone are like spread around. We'll see.
There's like a clear difference in some aspects.
It's scary.
Yeah, like with COVID, the world suddenly stopped, but the post-production is post-production. So we still had a lot of stuff to do, and there was like the new variable of going home and figuring out what can be done, what can't, and what's the only way to push forward if we want to. So that's like what forced people to make so many decisions in such a short amount of time, and just go as whatever happens, let's just keep going. In this situation, at least, in some aspects it's the opposite, but the result might be similar. But at least some variables are already prepared online.
No, I mean, we know that it's handing now. So it's not been like 2 years or 1 year up, how long it was for COVID. For me, it's hard because I rely on the people I'm working with. So, and I need to know the team. I need to know the team I'm working with. And if I have a completely new team, it's scary, because you can have a good team, but you don't know them, and it takes time also to kind of build a relationship and trust, and you have to bring all this work in front of a client that is expecting the same service he had before. So, yeah, it can be quite stressful in that sense.
There's a big difference between knowing somebody first and then moving to online, and then meeting somebody from online and then trying to get to know them while online. I think there's a big, because you sort of know the person already. Like, I already know Josh, I already know Adrian, so like I know what they're like, and we have this rapport. But I think just meeting somebody, there's like this invisible barrier that's really, really hard to kind of cross, and that's like a new team, new people, new faces.
That is another challenge, absolutely.
But the thing is, though, like, it's because when you're doing crazy hours or something in the trenches, that's when you make your best friends, right? Because it's like, and that's where you really see who people are, right? Like, everyone can be a nice person and happy when things are going well, but when you're in the shit and it's like everyone's helping and jumping on each other's shots and saying, "I'll do that thing and I'll do that thing," but it is right. Yeah. That's the kind of the defining moments of like, can you actually push through, if that makes sense? So yeah,
and when you're on your last moments, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and it's in a dark room, and this whatever the shower was in NPC, and then somebody comes and gives you a chocolate or something and saves the day, and you're just like, this is a real true person here.
Yeah, that's I mean, all my like closest friends, I think, in the industry are all the ones who I just went through these like crazy projects with, basically, and you're all in the trench together, and you all help jump on each other's stuff, and it's and actually, I think that's something that I make a point of if I'm in the office now. Obviously ILP, they sometimes get people over, and I make a point of like making a real nice environment, because I feel like that's a strength, right? If you're used to working in the office, and back in the MC days, man, was there a good vibe in that, and everyone was like clubbing together and getting through and problem solving, and I'll jump on this, and it's I think actually the strength of MPC, again, I can only talk about back then, was everyone had been there for a while, right? So like Susan Jandu had been there for a while. I think she started in Redo Prep. Like, there were some really like people that had been there for a long time and had known each other for a hell of a long time and had each other's back. Which I guess, Giacomo, you're saying was like a bit trickier now because companies have just mass laid people off and they've got to rebuild that culture, I guess. Yeah. Do you feel like there's pressure on you to set the culture, given that you don't have the same team every single time? Like on your next show, are you going to be like, wow, I've got to really make a point of setting the tone here of how I would like people to work with each other?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, let's see what is going to happen. Let's see what project I'm going to work with. Let's see what team they're going to find. Because at the end of the day, I would say most of the time, the bosses, the people that are on top, they're not giving information because they don't want to, because they don't have them.
Yeah.
No one has figured it out. Like no one.
It is a really tough industry because we are basically a service most of the time, and yes, there's such a difficult balance between production companies and the post-production companies.
Very uncertain time at the moment, I'm sure. Yeah, I think since I started in the industry, I mean, it hasn't been that long, but it was like 2010 or so. I mean, I've always just seen that it's a volatile. You're kind of riding the rapids down the river. Like nothing, nobody knows anything. Just as soon as you think, yeah, this is going to be great, it's 2 years later, like the industry in that city leaves or something. It's everything is kind of crazy. Yeah. The strikes here and this. So you kind of almost can't prepare for it. You just have to adapt.
Exactly. But I think this is a quality also. I mean, in general, being able to adapt in life is a quality. So if you do that, if you are able to do that, is a plus. You're going to grow up. You're going to go up in your career as well because you are able to adapt.
Well, you're a great example. I mean, shifting countries, shifting industries, shifting languages. I mean, you kind of have the experience of adapting, and you kind of have this confidence of if it changes again, I could probably do it again if I needed to.
You have to consider also when I was in Italy at the beginning, I think it's part of my way. I'm trying to find a solution. I'm not focusing on the problems. I know there are always problems, and it's part of my heritage because in Italy there are so many problems that you have to focus on how to solve them, how to move forward, rather than stop and say, oh, this is not working. Why this is not working? You just, okay, this is not working. Is there a way to fix this? Is there a way to find a solution? Okay, let's move on. Otherwise, you kind of focus your energy on something negative, and it doesn't work. Perfection doesn't exist. So, and that is a good attitude. Regarding of the fact that we are actually always reacting, that's true. And I think companies like ILM or Weta, they are a little bit like in a better position because they know they're going to get work, so they can invest more, a few years ahead with technologies and everything. While most of the other companies are more like okay, if we have a project, then we have the money, then we can do things. So. That is why it's quite hard in the VFX industry for the management side. I mean, I'm not blaming them. I think most of the people I've been working with in the management, they are super friendly, nice, and honest people.
Yeah, just they don't know.
Especially.
Yeah, they're dealing with the challenges that they're
challenging for them.
Even if we are in the digital world and it's already changing in every single industry, in our case, it's worse than most other industries because we do not need any certifications to move forward with something like lives do not depend on it or many other things. In our case, it's like as soon as something that can work, as it's almost a prototype, can help do a project, it's implemented straight away or in a matter of 1 month. So, it adds to the needing to adapt at any given moment.
The chaos.
And things change so quickly, then you might actually use a different tool or there is software for it. So, yes.
I guess in medicine, like it takes like 10 years to do any single change, but
with regulations and like bodies so trying to decide what's the right move. And
are you using any of that stuff, Giacomo, for like pre-production or anything like that, like the machine learning image creator, like to get rough ideas of how something should look, or you haven't touched much of that yet?
I'm actually start to learning and going into that, but I know that some supervisor in Dneg are using Midjourney for concept.
Yeah.
So it's for the clients, but also like internal concepts. Like we want to have an idea of what to do with this picture, so they kind of like throw 100 pictures of concepts, and then we kind of like, hey, you can use this, you can copy this. So reference. I think you were discussing about this in the past. Reference is so important. Having reference is so important. Having something that you kind of like look and that gives you the idea of where to go. It's a key. So that is definitely something I'm gonna do for the next project. Definitely, I'm gonna do a lot of concepts, even for myself, just to figure out exactly what can we do, what could be the style, But other than that, no. The rest is, I think, it's a little bit early days for all the tools, the other tools, right? If you have better knowledge.
They were using at ILP. They were using this thing called Runway, which is kind of, it creates short videos, I think, with machine, and they were using that to fill story timelines, basically, with like shots just before they'd actually, which is quite cool. I thought it was quite a good idea because it gives you, it's better than kind of a little drawing or a play blast and things.
Runaway, right? Like Midjourney and Runaway combined.
Yeah, it's
that's cool. That's cool. I think it's gonna get better and better.
Yeah. One of the best AI like concept artists that I know is actually a VFX super trickster, Chris Smallfield, and he makes all these like crazy photoreal looking characters with Midjourney, or I think he's using Midjourney. And I got a chance to ask him once, like, how are you getting these so realistic? And he said, actually, it's quite similar to VFX souping, which is I'm just telling the computer like, no, I don't like this. I want more of this. Give me another version with this. And he's just like telling that to the computer, and it's just giving him more. So like it's almost like a perfect field for VFX soup because you're already used to telling people or something how to change it to mold it into the way that you want.
Any text to like all these generative LLMs, like all the big models. A big part of prompt engineering, or how they call it, is actually iterating and seeing what it gives you. Okay, let's improve it in this way and give it again. And I was surprised when I learned this, that's like a big part of it, and not just refining your perfect message and then just throwing it. It's like, no, you see what it gives and then you improve it.
Giacomo keeps asking it for less glow, basically. Just keeps asking it for less glow. Like,
10% glow.
Less glow! Exclamation heads up, less glow.
That's like for me, like the more experience someone has, the lower the divider for your glow can be. For me, when I like the glow, I turn it by half. To my students, I say 1/3. But you said 10%. That's like the.
I just thought of I don't actually know if the computer or the model, if it ever remembers you and what you like. Because one of the benefits of being an artist is like, oh, I'm working with Giacomo. He doesn't like glow. I'm not going to give him something that's super glowy. But I don't know, like you have to keep repeating to the computer, like you're starting fresh. And you have to keep, like, I don't know if it learns, oh, this is Tony, this is Josh. He doesn't like this. I'm not going to give him any of that. So it's kind of interesting.
There's going to be a way to build the profile, definitely.
Probably your custom Midjourney.
Yeah, Giacomo, you can just spend all your time making chocolate, and you can automatically give notes via your your Giacomo machine learning note giver, because it'll know what you want, and it can just keep automatically giving all the notes on the versions. It's it's
Have you asked ChatGPT how to make your chocolate recipes?
No. Actually, I did because I'm not doing any cocoa, just classic cocoa powder to mix in the chocolate. So I'm making chocolate bars and hazelnut spread. That's it. But which is amazing.
Taking on Nutella, man. That's a big challenge.
Competition.
It's called Chocomella.
Oh, amazing.
Chocomella. Ooh. What was your chocolate website called? So people, if they want to go. Say it again.
CloverHouseChocolate.com.
That's great.
I think ChatGPT asked Giacomo how to make chocolate.
Yeah, you gotta hide your website.
I think at the end of the day, the question is the answer is if you want to do something good, you have to start with the best ingredients. Try to find the best cocoa beans, and you basically are already there.
There's
So
your learning
90
to the VFX industry.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's same in comp. Get a good lighter before you, and comp's easy.
Good reference. Good elements.
yes, good artists or people that are willing to learn and they're like have a positive attitude. It's yeah, I think a good team.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, it's been interesting. I mean, actually, Giacomo, have you ever done any graffiti in London? Are you interested in taking on the London scene at all?
No.
This is where you tell everyone you're Banksy, by the way, Giacomo. This is
Not
the
that we
point.
know.
No, when I'm going home, because I have my crew, my friends. There, some are still active,
Amazing.
and I'm actually been doing a lot of interviews recently because there's a little bit of revival and a nostalgic. Like, can you just show me? Because also in the 90s, I've done the first documentary for graffiti in Italy. Right? So it became like a cult in the underground. So even now, there are like, younger generation watching this video. It was like on VHS at the time. These old times, that's what we were doing, and looking at us like, demigods. And it's
So cool.
kind of fun. But so recently I've done some interviews. But when I go home, when I go in Italy, maybe sometimes just for the, just to stay with friends, we just go and do like, a wall.
Drive into the rival gangs area. Do your graffiti.
No, but it's all legal. Now we are all friends. It's also funny. Like before, we were like in competition. We were like enemies, really enemies. But now we are all friends.
Oh, that's great.
Have you ever snuck any of your graffiti into the back of a shot at all?
Ooh.
Yes.
You have. Hey, nice. Are you allowed to say the shot, or you're not allowed to say the Oppenheimer explosion?
No, I think I done it. I was doing like a teaser trailer for Godzilla. It was super fun because Gareth Edwards came in office in Dneg, and he had like a budget for few shots, and it was with Nick, and I remember Gianfranco Sgura was there as well. So we were like the two compers, and I had like this town all destroyed. I think it was San Francisco, and it was all destroyed. And then I like walls, and I said, okay, I put some graffiti there. And then it's so yes.
That's amazing. Like, I'm not saying that I've done it as well, but if I had done it, I would have hidden my rotopaint strokes a lot inside the comp so that no one can notice.
It's just Giacomo's face like that. Giacomo, you need to start putting Cloverfield, your website, your chocolate website, in the back of shots. Subliminally,
No, but graffiti is fun. I mean, also you can put your dog.
Your dog.
I need more explanation than that.
Where did you hide a dog, Giacomo? Where have you hidden a dog?
Oh, my company once hid it in the clouds. We had a company dog, and they'd always used to sneak him into stuff. They put him on a billboard, and they'd put him like like his face, like 10% opacity in the clouds.
I used to do the stars, initials in the star. I worked on Star Trek and The Martian, and I used to put my initials in the star. I mean, you can make any bloody letter out of stars, right?
You can't do that. Neil deGrasse Tyson's going to come wreck you.
That's not a real constellation. But I used to put my initials in the stars. I always thought that'd be a good money-making business. You could take payment to put people's initials in the stars of your shots. It'd be a little like side hustle. But it used to be so good back in the day. I don't hear so much about people sneaking things into shots anymore. It used to be like a real thing. I remember when we were all in the office.
I don't know if they're doing it. I don't know because they don't tell me. So
that's true. That's true.
Invisible.
I'll ask
You'll see what happened
and ask him.
On the Maya B movie. You probably remember that.
What movie? Sorry.
What?
The Maya the Bee or something like that.
What happened? What did people sneak in?
We might just put the screenshot later, but it's like basically a dick. It went to the actual movie, and
They get blown up as the poster frame the film.
Well,
What was it, on a building or something, or on a tree, or
it's like
talking?
On a kids' movie, like some shading artist put it there just for the joke, and for some reason it went all the way to the actual thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I heard a story about someone trying to do that once. They didn't last for long. Sorry, Giacomo.
Okay, no. I mean, it never happened to me, and I usually I'm trying to be quite keen with what we send. So
Yeah.
I think I would not, but if you just put a small graffiti on a wall on a big environment picture, so you don't really know, and it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't really ruin or it's fine. If you want to put your name or your dog walking on the road, you can do that.
You get away with it. Oh, is this the... You're actually sharing the screen. Oh my God, yep. That's so obvious.
Oh man, that's or maybe it's just because it's blown up, but yeah,
that's probably... Someone was fired probably, I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard
everyone knows about all the Disney stuff that they used to hide and all the animations in the 90s and stuff that's been coming out now, but...
I think people don't have time now to do this because the deadlines are so quick. Before, as you said, like we'd get to version 300 or something, and you got time. But nowadays, it's too quick to put Easter eggs and stuff. It's it's a tricky one. Has anyone got a final question at all, or a last question they would like to ask? I know actually something I think you mentioned to me, Tony, is kind of like maybe you've forgotten the question, but
I think I know.
Is the being nervous about working on a?
Yeah. I was gonna ask, like, I'm not sure if I have the timeline right, but you went from 2D supervisor to VFX Soup kind of pretty recently, right? You've had a couple of TV shows stuff, and then you get a project like Christopher Nolan. Were you nervous? Or you're like, oh no, this is a big one?
Yeah, I mean, I was. At the beginning, I didn't believe it because I was actually supposed to be on a show that I helped brought in the company, and it didn't happen. So I thought, okay, they're not going to give me any project, because if they don't give me even the project that I helped bring it in, how? And then they come out with this project. I think the main reason is this show was very 2D, and I built my reputation on a really to be a really good 2D look dev artist. And they thought, okay, we need someone that is going to be able to really think out of the box, to understand very well. Have like also commercial background. I've been doing sometimes even motion graphics, so they needed someone with like a very, very wide range of background, and I think that was actually a good idea, because I was the right person. I think I was the right person for the show. I was actually more excited rather than. I honestly believe that I deserved it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really like saying, "Oh, why I'm not going to be able to." No, I think I can do it. I think I've done enough in the industry now after 20 years that I know I can deliver a show like that. So it was more like getting the chance.
It must be incredibly rewarding after the final result was amazing and everything, and you must be just so proud.
It's rewarding now that I step back and I watched the movie and I saw how everything has been really put in the. I mean, it's really working well in the movie, and it's quite tricky because when what in our job what we do, we don't really have a context. So yes, you can watch the sequence, but you don't really have a big picture. So sometimes you really have to trust, because it's about trust, because it's okay. I'm doing what you want, but I don't understand exactly how you're going to use it. And this was one of the cases that it's not happening. It's not all the time, but it's happening. And in this case, we were just making weird pictures, and it ended up really well in the movie. So that's great. So
it's a very unique project, isn't it? I think
definitely
it was super unique in the way it went around. So I think, as you say, you were probably one of the perfect people for the job with your strength in 2D for that stuff.
I have one final question that I would like to ask. So if there's a junior out there, or a mid, or a comper, and he sees himself or herself being a visual effects supervisor one day of Christopher Nolan's future project, what advice would you have for yourself, your younger self, or somebody that is trying to follow that path to kind of get to this position that you've got in?
I would say work on your strength. So if you are good at something, try to show it. So you can't be what you're not. So I know I'm not super technical. So I'm not going to try to show off some technical skills that I don't have, because it's not my passion. So if you're good at something, try to show it and work on that. So it's going to be your thing. And the other thing is, try to be the person that find the solutions. So if you are kind of known in the company, the one that find the solutions, people are going to come to you, and people are going to want, they will want you on their shows. So you will become someone valuable in the company. So I think it's these two things I would suggest. I mean, it's hard at the beginning because you don't know. Okay, what actually I'm good at. I don't know. Maybe I like doing invisible shots, and then you realize actually you are the best creature compositor in town. But just start to do the job and learn learn what you actually like to do, and then use it as your strength. You're kind of like, okay, you're selling yourself on what you're more passionate, and then try to be positive.
That's amazing feedback.
Mm-hmm.
People like positive people. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think
we could keep going.
Won't waste
3
more
hours.
of your time.
No. Absolutely, it was actually a pleasure. Real pleasure.
It was really fun. It was really nice to meet you, and I'm sure.
I mean, I'm happy to do it again, guys.
That would be amazing. If we manage to have a proper, let's bring people, it's super valuable.
Reoccurring guests.
And Giacomo, before you go, I think you're at View Conference. Is it next week? So if people are at View Conference, they can see a talk from you, is it?
Yes. I'm going to be at the View Conference the 20th. View Conference is in Turin.
Mm-hmm.
It's
on the 20th of October.
An amazing festival. 20th, yes. The 20th of October. And it's going to be a career talk. And I'm actually preparing the talk, because it's more or less I have an idea what I want to talk about. I want to show pictures. Because I know that people want to know the story behind, what does it mean doing this job. So I think I'm going to bring some pictures. I'm going to tell, okay, in this project, on this shot, I was crying.
Inside scoop.
So unhappy. I'm going to just tell I think I'm going to try to actually focus more on the bad things. So what problems I had to what problem I had to solve, what situation I have to overcome, and so it might be more like a lesson rather than show off or only the good stuff.
Just a bunch of pictures of you crying on different projects, basically. That's what it's going to be.
And here's me crying on this shot. And here's me crying on this shot.
It's a version on one shot. You basically go through all the range of emotions.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So at the end, I remember I was just numb. I was just you don't have any more emotions. You just
you've used them all up.
Yeah.
So you're out.
But you always have your chocolate, at least.
That's true. Amazing. So people can go see a View Conference, and then Giacomo, hopefully
it's going to be a nice experience, and I hope there's going to be young people coming. I'm actually thinking about this talk more for passionate and young juniors, and rather than people that have already experience, so they can know me and ask me all the questions they have, and
it's so important to inspire the next generation.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
No problem.
That's amazing.
No problem. Nice to see you guys.